Hello everyone, and welcome to this video. My name is Samira, and here today I'm so happy that Sandra is with me. On this YouTube channel, I'm sharing contents about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And in the beginning, I just wanted to ask if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, it would be a very big support to me if you do so, because then I would be more motivated to continue this journey. But yeah, as I said, today here Sandra is with me. I'm so happy that you accepted my invitation. And today we are going to talk about motherhood and how it affects a woman's life and what employers can do in order to make it a more inclusive journey for them. Sandra, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, of course. Thanks for having me here, Samira. Always a pleasure. So please, people, do subscribe. Samira is a top-notch content creator, so she always brings new and perspectives. A
Thank
little bit
you.
about me. I'm Sandra. I'm a founder or mompreneur, one could say. I did found my own company for sourcing training, talent attraction, workshops, but also interim and freelance hands-on support. So if you need any support in those topics, do let me know. I have a history in startups, scale-ups, well, really fast-paced environments. That's always the word one uses. Yeah, and doing 12 years of talent attraction, sourcing, and recruiting stuff, right?
Yeah, that sounds great. But you have become mom not recently, but about a year ago, if I'm not, or more than a year ago, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
oh my God, time flies, right? It's 1.5 years ago now. The
Yeah,
little one
yeah,
is not
yeah,
so
that's
much a
true.
peanut anymore. She's a grown peanut. She's a popcorn already.
Yeah, she's such a cutie. But yeah, I'm sure that you have been through a lot of challenges, especially because we have talked about it together previously, especially regarding the work. So can you explain what kind of challenges? Of course, it's like a personal experience, but yeah, I would
Exactly.
like to know your personal experience, what has happened and what challenges you faced.
Oh God, yeah. As you said, I can only share my personal experience, and that varies a lot from probably a lot of women out there because obviously I live in a social security state called Germany. And we have actually pretty good laws here. They're not awesome, but they're a lot better than in a lot of parts of the world out there. So I'm pretty grateful for that. Um, Honestly, the first experience I did make was totally underestimating the whole mom thing, honestly. Because I always had a look at this at the outside, and I was thinking, well, that's sort of manageable, but I was never aware really what it really means in terms of your everyday life, what struggles, what mental stress you experience, the lack of support from basically every institution you would love to have support from. And then the struggle to always handle everything at the same time, yet feeling the mom guilt. And I guess a lot of people can feel me with this. Um, but also in terms of your career. And I struggled a lot viewing myself as a businesswoman, but also at the same time being a full-time mom, right? Because that you already have a job full-time, and that's being a mom. And so my experience was starting even before I became a mom, being pregnant. I stopped working a few weeks before delivery. And the first thing I noticed already was that I felt left out of the whole business team thinking, right? And that really saddened me a lot, because from one minute to the other, you're just sitting there, and the baby's not even there yet. And you're like, okay, wow, what do I do? It's 6 weeks to go to the birth date, and you're still in this, mood to be like, okay, I still want to work on this and I want to work on that, and suddenly you're
How did you feel left out? Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but
oh,
can
no,
you
no, no, please
explain
do.
more how was, like, in what terms you felt left out?
Because I didn't receive any updates anymore
Mm.
about the business. And I guess, of course, it's not that people didn't want to, leave me out on purpose. It was rather that people thought, oh, she's, preparing for motherhood, and she's probably so busy, and we don't want to disturb her with business stuff. But um that's only my experience. Other women probably say, okay, as soon as I'm entering this phase, I just want to leave work behind. But for me, it was such a rupture where I felt like, oh, I don't know, because I'm very passionate about work. I really love the team I work with, and I regularly caught up with them. I still went to meetings because I just wanted to know, like, what's going on. Also, I had the fear of when I would return, then I would get a tsunami of information, and if you're out of the game totally for, let's say, for 4 months, and for me it was a year, I was really fearing, like, what would happen when I come back and finding a totally different environment, new tech stack, new processes. And I really felt like, oh God, this is going to be overwhelming, coming back, but then also coming back into a totally different environment. So I would have loved to see a slow start, or some little updates in between. But maybe that's just me, that's where I felt this wasn't inclusive. But I guess I can also understand the business side of things, where people are like, oh, let's leave her alone. This is a special time. We don't want to bother her with any business related things, and don't want to feel pressure,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. But I have heard this from a lot of moms, that they say they kind of see, when they become a mom, they kind of see this, let's say, ceiling, like, overhead of themselves, like the
Mm,
glass ceiling, that, okay, you will be so limited to so many things, and you're not. I think in general, women have this, even if they are not a mom, the women most of the times have this glass ceiling over their head. But I think it can become more complicated when you become a mom. But did you have such an experience, or did you face any
mm,
discrimination, or either it was conscious or unconscious,
yeah.
from the society, or from the workplace, or?
Yeah, actually I did. Probably every mom has, honestly. I can't even imagine a woman out there who has not experienced something like this. But on the one hand, I had really positive experiences. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was in discussion for promotion, for a big promotion, actually. And I was first of all afraid to tell anyone, because I thought, okay, can I tell? Can I not tell? And but over the years I had built up solid trust in my manager, and I told him, and the way he reacted was just awesome, really. And he was like, oh my God, no, shut up. Like, that's honestly great. And that's not a reason not to do this. And I've also experienced other women going through promotion, being even further into being pregnant. So that helped actually having a positive experience in the same business environment. So I was really happy that it was a very open communication about it, and it wasn't a showstopper. Yet at that time, we also worked together with an interim manager, so he wasn't part of the business. And honestly, I don't think he was also part of the whole culture there. So when I told him, the first response was, "Oh, so your plans change for the promotion?" And I was like, "No, I still want to be promoted, just, that's
Mm-hmm.
so I was a little bit like, yikes. No.
Yeah.
Um, and I flagged this, honestly. I did flag this, and everyone was reacting very supportively, and just really making a statement here to, no, this is not appropriate to ask somebody stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful for this experience too, but I could really feel like how this anxiety rose up in me, and I'm like, oh God, I know like how this feels. So honestly, in my LinkedIn profile, you won't find any hint in terms of maternity leave, because openly speaking, I'm still afraid that people could be like, oh, she's a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And question my ability to work full time, or to have a focus on business as well. But the only thing that's really, really super important is the supportive environment and flexibility. I
Mm-hmm.
think those two things are extremely game changers.
Yeah, I think also we have like as a society like the whole world has changed a lot since like let's say 40 years ago, 30 years ago, even 20 years ago, but there's still a long way to go regarding this making supportive environment, because still there are a lot of people who think that it's mom's duties to take care of the child. No one asks a man when they become a dad what happens to your career, or because it's something obvious that it's their like they share a child and it's their duty, both of them, and they should share the responsibility. Yeah, of course there are some things that moms can maybe do better, but it doesn't mean that they should be only the person who is affected, or their career should be
Yeah.
affected here, especially for people like me and you, that their career is very important. And I noticed that when you were on maternity leave, you were still very active, that I didn't realize that you were on your maternity leave. You were very active everywhere. But yeah, that's true. I think there should be like we have still a long way to go in terms of being aware of these things and to make a
It
supportive.
definitely challenges the whole image of how society perceives moms and dads, dads as being like the providers, moms being the caregivers. But I think everything is evolving, because I mean, only a couple of decades ago, women had to ask their husbands if they were allowed to work, and now a lot of women do have a great career, and sometimes it's already the case that they earn more than their husband. And that was also my case.
Yeah.
And people would be like, wow, okay, wow, how do we work this out now? Does your boyfriend stay at home? Do you stay at home? What makes sense in an economic way? Those things, if you challenge them, that brings out a lot of role stereotypes, and people still struggle to put, you know, those things into like
Mm-hmm.
perspective, be like, how, you know, and you're like, well, you know, it's just the other way around, maybe, you know, or let's
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah, it's really great that the society is changing and a lot of women are now in this like uh, they have this case that they can have this supportive environment and this mindset shift, but there
Mhm.
are still a lot of women in the world that they don't have this privilege. And I think I don't know, I kind of feel that we should speak up for them because I know there are still a lot of women who are not privileged enough to like to be seen in this way, that okay, their career is also important. And
Yeah.
you know.
No, I've recently been to an event for a new platform. It was a launch, sort of a launch event. Because they have pitched for Shark Tank, sort of a thing, you know. It was the German version of it. And they created a platform called Free Mom. So it's the combination of freelancers and moms,
Mhm,
because what they found was that this flexibility is usually found within freelancing, right? And companies still struggle to provide you with you know, the flexibility. Corona has changed a lot of things, and just in terms of the flexibility of working hybrid or remote. But I met a lot of women, especially moms, who said they never really had the aspiration to become a freelancer or become self-employed, but it would best fit into their lifestyle. And that's exactly the same experience I had. I always played with the idea. I was never really like, I want to do my own thing, you know, because I always love to have like my tribe, my team around me. I was always very happy to work with companies. By no means I'm a Joe Pop, honestly. I stay a long time usually. But yeah, for me, there was then after maternity leave, the opportunity to try this, and now I'm here doing it, and it works out fine, you know. It's still a struggle, but I'm very passionate about it, and it fits better into work-life balance, honestly, because I decide when I work, how much I work, um, and it plays out well. It's really good for at least me, you know.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's great. But if come like someone who is working in an HR team or a company manager is watching this video, what is your suggestion for them to make a more inclusive culture for women who are having their
Mm,
motherhood? You mentioned flexibility, but can you maybe explain more what kind of flexibilities,
yeah,
or if you want to add other things that can make
yeah.
difference?
Mm. So I recently heard a founder say, so in Germany we don't have to do much because we already have great laws, you know, who provide for moms. And I was like, yeah, no, Jay, they're just the bare minimum, I
Mhm,
think, what you should offer. So I think every company should really ask themselves, how can we support women or parents in general in this special time? And not focusing only on women, but also how can they provide the time to dads to support then the women. But because usually what happens now is that dads go back to work after 2 weeks after delivery, and that's really insane for a lot of women, especially when you imagine that you have to, or you should stay close to bed, you know, not do much housework and, you know, walk around for 6 weeks, you know. So going back after 2 weeks, you're like, okay, there are still 4 weeks to go where you should rest and just enjoy the
mm,
baby and, you know, just do nothing but just babying, you know. So that would be one thing. Review what you can actually do to make this less stressful. Because honestly, the dads usually don't sleep too much as well during that time too. So you should take care of the situation for both. And not take just the minimum of what laws provide you with. The second thing is how can you update moms during maternity leave? It really depends how long they stay away. Some are gone for a longer period, some just for a few weeks. And of course, you don't want to stress them or bother them with things, and you absolutely shouldn't. But sending some mindful notes after delivery is, of course, always a nice thing to do. Because you're showing still interest in them. They're not just out of the game, gone, and nobody ever heard of them again, but it's also easier to come back to work life than um in a smoother way. And the other thing is, of course, then starts the time of, okay, what happens with the baby? You give it to a crash or a kindergarten, so external caregiving. And what I never realized is that this period of time is super, super important for the kid, for the moms, for the dads, because kids have to adjust to a new environment, and some take it very well. It's a 2-week phase and it's done. And some take 8 weeks or more to adjust to new, persons. And it can be very stressful. And yeah, so for me, for example, I should have gone back on October 1st, and the crash then said, okay, because some other kids took longer with, this period of, adjustment, we have to postpone it a little, the starting date of the crash. So it's a 3 weeks pause, and then you never know how much time it's gonna take for your baby to adjust to new environments, and that you plan at least a few weeks or even months to make this transition, into work again. And as soon as you have finished off, the one thing would be like, okay, baby's fine, baby's in the crash, and it's feeling good about it, everyone's fine. You're just sit there and be like, whoa. That was a wild ride. And you're like, and then people are like, great, you're back.
Yeah.
So I think the transition phase is probably the most critical time, and that's how you make things more inclusive. But obviously, probably there are more things you can do to make people feel more seen, more understood. And if anyone's out there having more ideas about that, they're always welcome to comment under the video. I would also be very curious to know them, but that's just what comes to my mind and what stems from my experience. And as I said, it's just my experience. And what I didn't realize is that parenthood is super different to each individual. It's very, very individual in experience. And this is why companies should always take this as an very individual experience that people are going through, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. It was very insightful. And I think the thing that you mentioned, that dads should also have more time to process this, or to have a time for like parental leave, it's really important. I know, for example, there's a rule in Finland. I'm not sure about how long is it or what is it, but the parental leave should be divided between mom and dad. And okay,
Yeah.
this is transferable, but each of them should take at least something, I don't know, at least 4 months or something like that, so that cannot deliver
Okay.
more than some months to mom, and they have to take some time. So it
Oh,
helps, I
wow.
think, both of them, because first of all, yes, dad also needs to bond with the baby and to, as you said, to like rest some
Yeah.
time, maybe because maybe they are not able to focus on work because they didn't have enough sleep or whatever. And the other thing is that the mom can also have more time to
Mm.
do this transition and to process everything and to go back
Yeah.
to the work. And then it's not that one of them have to dedicate their career for their baby.
That's true, yeah. I mean, what I never kind of was aware of is that babies really think that they are a part of you. They don't have the concept of you two being separate entities in the first, I think, 8 or 9 months, even, until they realize, oh, I'm a person by myself, this is my mom, this is me. Because I mean, it does make sense. They were inside of you for 9 months, so they naturally think they're you, right?
Yeah,
So what they would do in the first at least 3 months is constantly, and I say really, no minute being a part of you, really. They're 24/7 on you, you hold
yeah,
them like this here and you do everything. As soon as you realize what you can do with just one hand, my game changer was like the soda stream opening, the soda stream thing with one hand was like the masterpiece. But it's so important. They do everything on you. It's and if you've ever experienced never being alone 24/7 for 3 months, having
yeah,
something very breakable in your hands on you all the time, it makes you realize, okay, you need someone who takes over when you need a shower, or
yeah,
just go to the loo or whatever, but or just breathe for a minute, and that's a very insane time for people. And I guess if dads can support moms during that phase, and also bond and have babies on them, that makes a total difference. Not only to moms, but to in general society, I guess, because people will realize that the brains of babies just develop, and they will become more stable personalities, I guess, when they receive the safety, feeding mom or feeling dead all the time on skin to skin.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So sometimes moms can't do this. They just don't have the choice to really bond that much, and be there because they need to do other things. And I guess it's very important that we offer this to everyone, being able to bond with their kids.
mm-hmm.
And that it's not an economic choice, but this is sort of a human right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much. That was very insightful. And I really appreciated that you shared your experience with me and with others, and you accepted my invitation to be here.
Of course. I mean, I wish I was a better role model in that sense. I'm still not quite comfortable to step up myself, be like I'm a mompreneur, and doing all those cool things. And I believe women do need role models. Historically seen, they don't have those role models, especially not the working mom role model in the modern sense, I would call it. So hopefully I can step up the game in the future a little bit more, and encourage people, to go their way, and also to voice what they need from companies um to thrive and to feel safe, And I hope companies will hear them and just reduce the glass ceiling a
Yeah,
little bit more.
yeah, that's true. That's really great. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best in your professional and motherhood journey, both of them. Thank you
Thank you,
again.
Samira.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.